Hello. Alright, hello again. So this is just part 2. Just going to continue from where I was about an hour ago. So here we go. So we've got this metal here. And I've got this noise map in here, and I've just taken this map and I've put this into reflective color and reflective diffuse color. And you can see it's coming through really strong here. And this is because of how much is being reflected. So like if this reflective amount here, see this is up high like this, right? But as soon as I put this in, this gives me blurriness on the material, right? And as soon as I put this in, it basically gets rid of a lot of the reflection. You can still see a bunch of it happening here, but not a lot. Like I doubt you'll even be able to see the brushed metal. Oh, you can just about make it through there, you see? So we've got the brushed metal coming through, and we've got this map coming through as well. So what we want to be doing here is, there's two things. You can either put in the color correction. So if I just right click here and say change material map type, and say color correction, keep old map as submap, I can do it this way and it just inserts it directly there above to both of them. And I can raise this, right? So I can do it in the output, or I can just come here, which is my intention, and let's try this at 3. And you can see what's happening here, right? It's making it lighter and lighter and lighter. And we can come in, let's try this up at 10. And the problem with this is it's also making it whiter in the diffuse. So we don't necessarily want that. Not sure what happened there. Oh, it went back to 1 for some reason. Okay, let's try this again. Oops. Put this at 10. Alright, so it's just making it whiter and whiter, and we've got the diffuse coming through here. So we can take this off the diffuse, put this one directly in there. And now what you see is you've got this variation happening here. You know, we've got the brushed metalness, but we also have these, you know, all of this variation and this stuff here happening and going on. So there's a couple things I want to do. Like this is a cylinder, obviously. Under this UV map, I'm just going to put a let's see, chamfer here, and this is only 2 millimeters across. So if I do 1, that's kind of the max it can be. Let's try 0.8, and they're going to meet in the middle. I'm going to give this 2 segments. Oops. And then just press F4 here, just to make sure it's not coming down these edges here. But you can see what it's doing there. And then, like, I like this like this. You can obviously, let's see. It's not doing what I'm trying to get it to, but it's fine. We'll just leave it here. Alright. Just to get a bit of an edge, you know, that's not so sharp on there. So, yeah. If I put this directly in here, the other way around is leave it in there and then just come in here and reduce this reflective amount here. So it's like, say it's only 10% the map, and the rest is the amount that we say up here. This one level here, you see? So I can come along and maybe I want it a bit stronger than 10, so let's try 20%. Let's try 50%. And you can see the details coming in here, right? And that's the other way to do this. So now we're adding in this detail here. Now I said before that what I wanted to do is I wanted to add in a coating to this. And so this will keep it the same, but it's just going to put a coat especially on the edge, like it's got a plastic coating on there. And to do this, I'm going to right click on here and say change material map type. And we want a Corona layered material, which is this one. Keep old material as submaterial, yes. Let's just come up here, press C just to lay out the children. I'm not using this anymore, I can delete that. Okay. And then we need to create a material that's a coated material. So I'm just going to assign this just so you can see what I'm doing. So if I put this on here, and then I take this reflection up to 1, and I take this Fresnel IOR up to 999. I'm going to put this glossiness down to like 0.9. So you can get the idea, you can see what's going on here, right? It's just slightly blurred, and it's a nice reflection of the scene, the scene, the table, and so on. And then what we can do is, we want some variation going on this. And so what I would do is I'd grab a different grunge map. Wait for the computer to catch up. I don't like these harsh grunge maps, I like something softer. Something like this might work well. Okay, we're going to try this one. So we put this in here, put this into reflective glossiness. You can see white is glossy and the dark is not. I'm just going to go directly here in the output just to show you how you can do this. You can come in here, Rgb Offset, let's try 0.7. And you can see immediately what it's done here, right? So all it's done is adjusted it to make it lighter, but the darks are still there, they're still dark like this. And so we get that detail happening there. And all it's doing here is it's actually blurring the image, right? You get the idea that it's like less reflective or something here, but it isn't. In reflective glossiness, it's just blurry here and not blurry here. You know, if you put it into reflective color, that would be where it's reflecting, where it isn't reflecting. So some people do both. They put it in reflective color and reflective glossiness, but it depends entirely on what you're doing. And you should know that reflective color is just where it is reflective and where it isn't, or less reflective. And this one here is how blurry the reflection is. So I'm just going to keep it in there for now. And then what I can do is I can plug this into layer 2, and if I put this back on here, you should only see this map here that we've put, because this is the layer and we haven't told it how or where to blend. So in order to tell it where to blend, what we want to do is we want to have a fall off. So I'm just going to come in, look for maps, grab your fall off, you can just double click, take it in, and we need to have this into mask 1, so just put that in there. And this says the front is black, so you're not going to see it, and the side is white, so we're going to see it on the side. So that's why you're seeing it here on the side here and not on the front. You see the difference? This is coated here and this is not here. And then you can add in a point here and right click so it's back on move, and you can move this around just to see what it's doing and how it's doing it. The percentage, you see? And if you take it down here, you get the opposite. It's going to be hardly see it at all. So we can put it something like that. Bezier smooth, so it's a smooth transition. And maybe drag this down a bit so we see it a little bit on the front. See, we're seeing it here. And then maybe we want this to be, this is 0.9, it's still quite kind of sharp. You can see the table there quite clearly. Maybe you just drop this down to 0.8, make it a bit more blurry. If I put this down to 0.5, because it's 100%, sorry, it's 100% the map. So I'd have to make it less the map. Let's try 90. And then it'll give us it on the front as well, right? I can actually take this, drag this back up to 1, and just use this other setting to make it show on the front here. Oops. What am I doing? This is how much it's showing the material and the weight of the mask. So we can take this material down to, actually let's do this. Let's try this down to 60. Let's put this back up to 80. And I can put this back in here, reflective color. So we have it coming through in these areas here, you see. And then the reflective color, like that's a bit strong for my liking. So I can just reduce this down to 60. Just see what happens if I take it off there. Okay, that's not working. See if I take it off here. Just see if that line goes. Not entirely, right? It's still there. Yeah, so I kind of like that, right? We've got the brushed metal, we've got all this stuff happening, we've got this variation, in the coating happening. I'm going to click that into there. Makes this all a bit stronger, which I'm not a big fan of. And also this is quite large, right? It's quite big. And I'm sure this is a tileable map. Like I'm sure this tiles nicely. So what we can do is let's try this at tiling 3 and 3. So we still get details, but they're just smaller details, you see. And then we can take this and reduce this down to like 50%. And that's a bit much. Let's push it up again. Let's try 70. Oops. Okay, let's try 80. And the idea was was just to create a coat on the outside of the brushed metal. And now it looks like I want another coat just to have some more reflection going on here. And so I'm just going to take this again, plug this into layer 2. And that's what we have right now. If I take this, you know, that's just this material on its own. If I drop this down to like 30 and 30, and take this, I want to push this up. I need this glossiness up at 1 or 0.8. Okay, so there we have that. See if you put it up at 1, almost everything disappears. You very faintly see these scratches and so on. But if you put this up to, as soon as you come down from 1, you're going to see they start coming in quite strongly. So that's a 0.8. And again, I think these are quite strong, so I don't want to have them that strong. So let's reduce this down to 15. Let's try 15 and 15. You can even go lower. Let's try 5. 5. Yeah, maybe that's a bit too low. All right, I'm just going to leave it at 10 and 10. And now I just want this on the very edges, not on the front here at all. So we're going to grab a full off similar to this one. Just take this and just plug it in to mask number 2. And I kind of like this. In fact, if I take this out of here, because a lot of the brushiness of the metal has now disappeared, right? And so we kind of need to make sure that can be seen. Like if I zoom right in, you can see it. But if you come onto the edges, I'm pretty sure it just disappears entirely. And the reason is it's not in any of these 2 materials that we're putting on the edge. So we can handle that with, if we take that brushed metal, where's the brush? There we go, this noise is what's creating it. So we take this and plug this one into you know what, let's just plug it straight into reflective glossiness here and reflective glossiness here, so it's on both of these. And now if I come in, it's there. But what we have to do at the same time is say, you know, we only want to see it a tiny amount, and so we're going to just put this down to like 3%, and this one, which I'm sure is much higher, yeah, it's 80%. Let's drop it down to 10. Let's try 5. If I do 1, and if I do this one at 1%, sometimes you think these tiny amounts no one's going to notice, but often you can notice it, especially if it's something like this, which can be quite drastic. Okay, so you can see the lines there now, right? And that's just these tiny percentages we're putting in. All right. So we have this kind of coated metal. I might just take it off this last one actually. Yeah, I think that looks okay. And if anything, this last one, what's the glossiness on this? Let's put that back up to 100, so if I do something else I don't forget. That's 0.8, and if I put it at 1, you can see it coming through here now. So, I don't know, 0.9. Yeah, we're going to leave it like that. Okay, so that's now a coated metal. And if we want some of it coming through on the front, what we have to do is just, one of the ways is just drop this down, and it'll start coming through on the front as well. But you'll notice that these lines here aren't coming through. Like if I really come in here, if I zoom in, we've got these beautiful dirt and, you know, dents and stuff, and they're not coming through on the larger scale where we've got these maps. So in order to do that, this map was causing those. We would have to take this map and bring this map into these materials in some way. So one of the ways we can do it is with a mix map here, for example. Let's just take a mix, and we can just put this into color 1, put this into reflective color, put this into color 2. Now when you do something like this, you want to see that what you're doing is actually having an effect. So this goes up to 100, so 100 will flip it from one map to the other. And you know, here, like, does it make a change? Very little, right? So let's just do 50, so it's just 50 and 50. And then let's try and bring this into the other one here. Let's just try using the same here. And the other thing is, how much of an effect was it having on this material in the first place? So we're just going to assign this and have a look. Again, not much more than we see there, right? So that'll be the percentage here on this. It's only at 50, so we could try 60%. The other thing we can do is we can come in with a color correction and just put it here, and just do advanced and just bring this up a bit. Let's try 2. Should make the darks darker and the lights lighter. And then we're just gonna, if I push this up to 100 again, should be too much. Yeah, it's too much. So if I come down to like 70. Okay. So now we've got that, and that's just this map, this material on its own. And then we're just going to take this and assign this. So we get those. Oops. Wash metal coated. And we can just assign this. And then we get the edges there, where it's more reflective. And that's effectively your realistic brushed metal. If you come in and have a look, you can see the details, you can see the brushing, the different strokes here that have come in, and you can see the details we've added to the brushed metal. Alright, so that's it, yeah. I'll catch you in the next one.